Jeez, I'm a little choked up. Wait a second. All right. I should get something down on the page before. Oh my gosh. All right. Today I thought I would draw some space animals. Oh, I'm just knocking stuff off my desk left and right. I am batting 1,000. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I don't know. I was thinking about like space animals or animals in space. We had mice. I think it's past tense. But I thought I would draw some mice. Hey, Ranch and Lettuce. Welcome. Your space in before, right? Is that am I getting that right? Sometimes I have trouble keeping track of everybody's Oh, cool. I think this back ear was a little low. I think this one's a little pointy. But other than that, I like this. I'm gonna. So I want it to be floating around. So I'm gonna make the body in a little uncomfortable position. Like uncomfortable because it's not realistic in gravity. Then his tail would be here. So that's good. And then I think we'll put at least one of these, a helmet on him. Salve, yeah. Man, I saw little mouse footprints a few weeks ago. Hello, Ashley. Welcome. And like they were so small and so like adorable, and they looked like little hands. I'm so surprised. I felt like humans and raccoons are the only people who had little hands. But then there's so many animals I see that end up having these little cute little hands. Oh my gosh. That is a crazy type of tea party. When I was young, I would fight sometimes with my little brother mostly. Um, and I feel terrible about it. We we stopped fighting pretty early, I think. By the time he was like 6 or 7, maybe 8, we kind of stopped. Yeah, I'd say by the time he was like 8 or 9, we stopped fighting at all. Which was good. We really have a great relationship now. Oh no, she's 2. That's crazy. It really is a crazy type of tea party. All right, so I'm thinking maybe just I'm gonna bring the bubble of the helmet up a little bit. And maybe I was gonna put him in a spacesuit, but I kind of like this kind of like free floating, like arms akimbo. I have my joints backwards on this back leg. This happens to me every once in a while. I just forget how legs work. If you watched me before, you've definitely heard me talk about how I have to double check all the time. And like that time I thought I didn't have to double check. And that's why I do. All right. I think he's looking cute. So let's do a kind of necklace space helmet attachment thingamabob. I think it's funny. You see in like science fiction sometimes that yeah, when you're older, when you're the older sibling, you you're supposed to know better. That's why. Okay. I think that works. So there's this fishbowl helmet, right, where all it is just the glass on top. And I think that's good. I think we'll do it for this guy. Well, because it's the most classic. Okay. I forgot to use my slip sheet. That keeps everything from being yeah, blue blue nails painted. I used to paint my nails a lot as a young person. And then I hadn't. I realized I hadn't in a really long time. And so I decided to do it. I did this like in an hour ago. I'm gonna give some definition to like the little belly of the mouse, and I think that'll help sell the whole thing. Yeah, I'm feeling I'm feeling sold. Oh, thank you so much. Did you simply draw this one? I've drawn a lot of mice and I've drawn a lot of space people. So for this one, I just started drawing just whenever the live stream started. So I didn't use a reference or anything for these. For this guy, I often do use references. I think they're really important, really good. You should always use them if you need them. And you should use them when you don't think you should need them either. But for this one, I thought I would risk not. But if we do another animal, I will probably bring up a reference. If I can, oh. Yeah, but let's do a little color on this. Does anyone have any suggestions for a reference, an animal we should do in space for the next one? Okay, I can pull up a reference. I was really worried. Oh, thank you so much. That's kind. That's kind. Yeah, I did a lot of practice and I drew a bunch of stuff for a long time and I struggled to find like my style. And once I found my style, I found it was much easier to do things like this. Glamrock Freddy. Two cats holding yarn in the moon. Okay. Yeah, we draw a lot of cats. I don't Roblox. Sorry. But yeah, two cats, or at least a cat, a yarn, and some moon. I like that. Cat, yarn, moon. I'm writing that down. Five Nights at Freddy's will be a different one, a different stream. But we'll definitely do something like that. You know I draw the cartoons sometimes. Oh, panda, sure. Panda in space. Pandas are a little hard and I love it. I'm just gonna give this guy some brown. I think we'll do brown most places. We'll leave the little belly. Oh, actually, let's do this kind of yellowy brown everywhere, including the belly, but lighter. Can you guys hear that clicking? That's my heater. All right. There's something. There we go. Oh, take care. Okay. My life is Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah, I haven't interacted with it a huge amount, but I know the lore. I've never played the games. They seem fun. I always thought I might play them, but I just haven't. I don't play a lot of games, but it's possible I do in the future. I would do like a like a game stream, and then I might play whatever the community recommends. So that could be Five Nights at Freddy's or okay. And I'm just gonna give a little. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna be a little bit more judicious with the black here, and I'm going to sort of use it to shade as well as change the color. So we'll get some dimension here by shading the edges a little bit darker. That makes them look like they're further away. Shading things that are down underneath a little bit darker. That makes them look like they're under stuff. Things that are further away, like this leg and this leg, will do shaded. There we go. I'm going to do the tail, kind of Whoop, I got a little excited. I did the tail too pink, but we'll do the tail pink and yellow, or pinky peachy, because I think that's kind of accurate. Yeah, we'll do the panda first. That sounds great. Oh, that's nice. I know Five Nights at Freddy's is based off of in or inspired by the animatronics from like Chuck E. Cheese's. And we had that when I was growing up, and one of my friends had a birthday there. And yeah, it was weird. There was like a dining room where you could go and watch the animatronics like play a music band. What am I saying? Oh, you know what? I'm going to use a little bit of the pink on the belly too. Okay. I think that's looking good. I'm going to do some blue for the helmet, just along the edges where like you might be seeing through a lot of glass. And let's do a light reflection. I have this white paint marker that I basically only use to draw little reflections on things. Okay. I'm pretty happy with everything. So what would be left? Oh yeah, I wanted to do the shading on the like a part where it attaches to him. The collar. So I want to do that, I think, a kind of peachy off-white. Hi, Plorb. Haven't seen you in a while. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Tobias. And canines. Okay. And then I'll use a little black to make it a little 3D-ish. Give it some texture, something interesting going on. I'm Let's ink it. I think I have this ink. It's a plastic nib Pigma Micron. You can get very, very fine lines with it. I have one that does thicker lines that if we need it, we'll grab that after. I think inking can really elevate, but I used to ink too close to the original pencil drawing. Oh my. And I've learned like inking has to be its own thing. And so I'm holding my breath. Whoops. Okay. This foot got lost in the sauce, but here, I think we can salvage it. There we go. Yeah, that looks like a foot. Perfect. Tail one. Yeah, so I used to, every single line in pencil, I would ink with ink. And like, that doesn't make sense. If you're just going to do that, you might as well keep it pencil. Yeah, mouse in outer space. Oh, good night, Ashley. And I also used to, I would never have inked directly on pencil like this before, but I started doing this on stream actually a few weeks ago, and it's been huge. It's such a change in style for me, but I find it's really been good for me. I like this. I feel like with the ink, it elevates this and it turns it, to me, it feels a lot like these old picture book illustrations that I used to have as a kid. And while some of my other stuff, which I do digitally, I do a lot of digital color. Sometimes those other ones I really could feel like they were of that caliber, of that style. Doing it right on the page has really added something to it for me. And then like I can still scan this in, and if there is something extra that I want to add in or color that I want to correct, that's still doable. But when it's done like this, it has this like old-fashioned feel to it. Oh, thank you, Ben is my name. Thank you, Ben. There's like a nebula in the background. Okay, we're gonna do a panda in space next. I'm gonna just drop a couple little starry dots. I don't know if you'll be able to see them in this light, but they're there. You can tell it's cold because my heater is yelling. I'm just going to do a couple, and then we'll move on to the panda. Pandas are fun because they're a little weird, a little weirdly shaped. You know, what if we add a little bit of this like reddish purple? Maybe there really is a nebula back there. Yeah, it's interesting. I started illustrating like 6 years ago, but I didn't start getting good until like 3 or 4 years ago. Which also lined up with like image creation tools. And so there's this question of like, should I stop? I'm really happy I didn't stop. I I hear it was easier to get work before. Oh yeah. Yeah, maybe we'll do this one as a as something like that. I'll scan it in. I can do that I think tomorrow because I have to go clear the car and everything. You guys don't want to hear about that, but I usually I try to do a longer stream in the middle of the day on Wednesdays, but because there's so much snow related stuff I have to deal with because we got snowed in for a few days. I probably won't be able to do it until later, but sometimes I do on my later streams like some digital work and some cleanup and stuff like that. So I could probably do that tomorrow, starting with this guy and some other things. Okay. And I was worried. Okay. How are we going to do a panda? Oh no. The, hmm. Hey, ranch and lettuce. Okay. I can't pull up. Give me 1 second. Okay. I had to get on the internet. My internet was broken. Okay, it's back. Okay. Let's do a panda. For ranch and lettuce. Okay. Oh my gosh. Pandas. So the thing with the panda that I'm thinking about the most right now is what is his pose going to be? Do pandas kind of just have the same round? Oh, they're like littler than you would think, if I recall. I can't pull up a reference because my reference puller upper is struggling. An arabesque. I don't think I know what that means. Okay. I was thinking, let's put his butt above his head. I think that'll make it sort of clear that something's wrong, right? Because, oh, one leg lifted behind him. I have this, hmm. Okay. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. Hang on for 1 second. Okay. 170. Okay, I'm in. I'm on. I'm working. Oof. That was terrible. Wait, it's still not working? This is the guy. All right, I'm just trying to pull up a reference for the panda. Cheesy crazy. Okay. I have finally gotten a web browser up. So we're going to do another animal in space. I'm not sure if we should do just with another helmet on. Probably. Oh yeah, there's a different type of helmet we can do. So whereas this guy has this full fishbowl helmet, what we can do is we can put like gear around it. So I just wanted to pull up like what a panda. Okay, so very little tail or no tail. So I think I'm done pretty well here. Eyes are closer to the front of the head. That's pretty much the big miss. It's black. Ears are black. Legs are, yeah, just like this. And this is kind of what their feet and paws look like. So we make this one. And then you have, this is going to be black and the leg, and then this is going to be black and the leg. Okay, it's starting to come together. So we'll do the collar for the helmet. And we'll do the helmet. I think that's the circle we want. Okay. And then let's make it look right. And then let's add some stuff like on the side and on the back. You definitely see at least TV helmets that look like this. I'm just doing this different type of helmet because we just did the other one. And like, you know, it's nice to get a change. So we'll see what we get here. So this would go up and around, so that would come there. We wouldn't see it, but we would see that. Okay. And then let's get some stuff on the side of the helmet, because you don't want it to just be plain Jane. Otherwise, why would it be there? Like if it's just plain Jane, then why wouldn't it be just glass? That's my thoughts anyway. Okay. So I'm just sketching stuff in to see. Okay. So we're seeing this mostly from the side. This part will be the side we're looking at it, and this will kind of be like the top. This we would see mostly from that side, but we would see a little bit where it connects to the helmet here. And then I think like latches here. We'll throw some latches in there where the helmet is like clipped into the glass. And we'll see some of that from the other side because this is the interior helmet over there. Okay, I think we've done a good job of giving this helmet something interesting, some three-dimensionality. We don't have to finish it right now, but it's good to get us an idea of it so it doesn't interrupt the rest of the drawing as we kind of start filling things in. We will see an ear here. I don't think we necessarily would actually see it in the draw, like if it was real life, but I think it's worth sticking it in there to see if it looks weird, because a panda ear is a really good, like we all know what a panda ear. I don't know why I drew him like in shock, but I like it. Okay, so just like a lot of bears, they just have like giant mitts. I'm gonna draw like a, yeah. So this one we're gonna see from this side, from the top side, and you basically, it just looks like a club. But this one is more interesting. Oh, this is also black there, because we will see some of the underside. So we have to make a choice. I think let's just do it. 2, 3, 4, 5 little claws. The big guy. Okay, and I think the rest is mostly just black fur. So now here's another interesting conundrum. The panda's black and white, but if we draw the fur black, 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 you won't be able to see the lines and the interesting stuff. So there's a couple things that usually get done. Now, let me draw this back leg. Hang on. Let me see. We can do the back leg like this, I think. But does that look dumb? It kind of does. Okay, for the front paws, they're not looking enough like paws, so I'm just going to give them like kind of classic teddy bear lines so you can see them. And do pandas have tails? Does anyone know? I mean, they must, right? They're mammals. Most mammals have tails. The second longest bear, the second longest tail. What? They do have a tail. It's kind of like that. Okay. I'm going to go gray. and see how that looks, and then make a decision about what the panda's coloring is going to be after that. I think there's a lot of options, but it's hard to think of them until we see what we're working with here. Oof. I'm happy I did this. This foot looks wrong. I think that's more like it. Hmm. They really do have their feet really do just like this part would be normally pointed forward. Now here it's pointed back, and I think it looks good. Here I was thinking about keeping it pointed forward, but it feels fake. Hmm. I'm just gonna do it. Sometimes things feel fake to me, especially in the moment, because I've been working on the piece a lot, and like my brain is thinking too much about it. So I'm just gonna run with it. Panda in space. Okay. So the pads, we're gonna add a layer of brown to. And these lines also, just a little hint. I think we'll do the same for the lines where the blacks overlap. Just give a little, and then I'm going to do another layer of black. I think the black is fine. I think it looks good. Let's make it a little bit darker. Bring it closer to actual black. So we learned this. I took a photography course. It was actually one of my first jobs I ever got in the arts was photographing people's artworks that they had sold or that they were expecting to sell in shows, and they wanted a representation of it either for their portfolio or for their self personal self, unlike the impersonal self. And in that photography course, they talked about how, like, how blacks worked and how contrast worked, and how, like, your brain will tell you something's black even if it's really just a dark gray. And sometimes your brain will tell you something's black even if it's a light gray, depending on the surrounding picture and what your understanding of the situation and the lighting is. And I think, the famous dress. I think that brought me back to photography class because not only did people thought something was black and white or blue and gold. No, you guys get it, blue and black or white and gold. And that's like exactly that lesson where like it depends so much on your understanding of what the lighting is and all that. And that was a lesson that I've tried to take with me into illustration. All right. I'm liking this a lot. Let's work a little bit on the helmet. I don't think brown was the right choice for this here. I'm just going to go over that in black, and then we'll probably hit it with the ink, and I think that'll look fine. This helmet is a little messy. I rushed it a little bit. But that's all right. Okay. So now I'm just kind of making this helmet have some interesting shapes on it and not just be like exactly the circle that it's attached to. Sometimes when I'm doing this, I really get into like the design of the helmet and I start thinking like, oh, this part has this on it because it does this. And like, well, for instance, as I was talking about this, I just thought, oh, we'll put a flashlight on it. And I think we really will. Let's put a flashlight like right here. Now this, because in a space helmet, there might be a flashlight right there. And so now there is one on Panda's space helmet. We have these clasps. We can make them a little bit more claspy. And then we have this line where it attaches to the glass, and what we can do is sort of raise it off the glass a little bit and make it 3D just by giving this like a lip. And there, now it's above the glass. We can have the glass kind of come out from under it there. I think the panda's eyes still really read. We can make these a little bit more three-dimensional also, same trick. And we can clean this up a little. I like this circles thing on the side. I haven't decided what it would be like, but let's give it some three-dimensionality too. Whoops, holding my breath. Cheesy peasy. One thing I always try to remember to do is, so this is a curved shape. So you're drawing something on top of it that you want to like seem pretty straight. You have to curve it, or you know that it sits on top of it correctly. You would want to curve it. And sometimes I draw something and then I don't know why it looks a little off. And it's because I didn't do the curve correctly. All right, you know what? Let's do one last bit and bob on the spaceship helmet here, the space helmet, and it's going to be a little antenna. Okay. Huh. I'm going to clean up some of this. I don't know how. I guess maybe my paper is starting to, yeah. I've been using the same slip sheet for like a week, and it's starting to pull its own smudges along. Oh, one last thing I want to work on with this space helmet is this part. I think it needs to have a little bit more detail, a little bit more something going on. Okay, we'll do that. We'll make it 3D. We'll give it an edge here. Same with this. We'll give this like a button. We'll do another button here and here. And we'll separate this out. We'll raise this up a little bit. And same with that. All right. That's better. So we'll do a little of this very light blue for the edge of the glass. Oh, you know what? We'll do the whole. We'll give the whole glass a little bit of that. If we're going to do a light reflection, we can maybe have it coming from this direction so we can hit it on the glass. And we'll do the space helmet in this peachy off-white. I find if you just leave it paper white, it doesn't look as good. And we can still come over the top of this and add other colors to it. So if we want to, for instance, do some of these buttons red or green, or if we want to do some of these buckles, maybe a blue to indicate that they're metal, we can do that. Hmm. All right, I'm going to try to keep my hand totally off the page because it's just not. I don't know if it's the black colored pencil that's smudging all over the place or what, but I'm not trying to. Okay, so I like most of this as a solid color. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and go over the parts. I'm going to do like shadows and shading, right? So this is, I'm going to make things much darker where they're behind other things. Or where they go off the edge. Oh, not there. Okay. Like this is behind, so I'm going to do that. And then try to blend it in, pull it down. And then this should be like a thigh, so it should actually have some three-dimensionality to it. Almost done. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Perfect. Okay, and then I'm going to do that same shading with this black very light up in the space helmet. Give it some something interesting, some detail. I'm going to use a little color. Hey Jeff, we didn't do, I don't have her. I don't have her out and ready. I I haven't seen her in quite a while. But I am going through my stuff slowly but surely. So if I do find her, I'll stick her to the side. But again, she is in that live stream where I drew her, so you can always see her there. Okay. I'm gonna do some inking. I don't like this one quite as much as I liked the mouse. But there's lots of my drawings that I'm not super fond of, or that I'm not fond of when I first start, that I eventually really like. So what I do is I try to treat them all as if I do like them. Because sometimes I eventually will like them. I'm doing with this paintbrush is trying not to lean on the. I'm basically using it like I would use a slip sheet. Which I should probably just make a clean slip sheet. Oh, thank you so much, Ranch. Welcome back. Or I don't know if you were here the whole time, actually. Thanks for saying that, is what I should have said. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, thank you. Even as the ink is going on, I'm starting to like it more and more. So this is it's so funny because like to me it feels like if you know what looks good, then you should know what looks good. And it shouldn't really matter like your emotional state or whatever, but it totally does. If I start feeling weird in the middle of doing a drawing, I start thinking the drawing's bad, even if it's just not. Yeah. Have you tried to draw the Sunderman family, Jeff? I think that's probably what I would do. Or maybe write fan fiction. That could be fun. It's a good outlet for that kind of a strong feeling. I used to put out a couple of shorts a week. I did for a long time, and then we were traveling and we moved, and I started focusing on live streams instead of doing shorts, which I had done live streams and shorts for a while. And I just realized I really miss doing shorts, so I started up again. And some of them are just speed draws of things I drew in the live stream. And then, like, sometimes I'll tell a story, or um, sometimes I know like weird facts about whatever I've drawn. Jeez, the heater is so crazy. Just did one that's coming out this week about the Oxford Electric Bell. And they're still drawing shorts. They're still It's still drawing content. People have said to me that it would be nice. I guess they would like it, is what that translates to for me to do some like drawing info, like I guess how to, but like tips and tricks is what I would do, I think. I'm I haven't There are some tips and trick shorts on my list of shorts that I might do, but I haven't decided to do them yet. I feel like it's hard to feel confident that I'm teaching the right lessons, but maybe I should just treat it like I treat all of my other shorts where I do the research and I double check everything I say to make sure I think it's true. And then I can just post about that. This actually reminds me. So I skipped taking AP chemistry. If you don't know what that is, it's college equivalent chemistry in high school. I had already taken chemistry. AP chemistry was not available when I took chemistry, or I would have taken it. I was very good at science. And my options were I could take extra art courses, or I could take AP Chem, and then either way, I would still have to take another science course uh, in order to graduate. So I took the extra art courses. I figured I had liked chemistry, but I was like, I don't, AP, they said it was hard, and I didn't want to really take chemistry twice in a row. And I had a very busy schedule. Like I'm saying, I had space to take art courses, and that's true, but I had a very busy schedule otherwise. And what's really funny is the teacher who taught AP chemistry, good guy. He taught me a lot. Not much of it was chemistry. And so a lot of my friends did end up taking chemistry. Some of them either the grade below me, so that was their first chemistry. They had not taken the course already. And some of them were my friends who were in my class and decided, or had either taken a different science the year before, so this was just normal for them, or they did decide to double up. But what ended up happening was I ended up being in a lot of the study sessions for the class, and sometimes reteaching what the teacher taught in a more understandable way, a more accessible way, because like I had figured out how to teach myself it. So I think about that sometimes. And like maybe that can be if I do teach art things, maybe it's just stuff that I'm able to recontextualize in the way that I understood it, and then see like if that helps somebody understand it, that's great. And if not, no big deal. All right, I think old boy here is looking pretty good. Hey, Nasir, welcome back. We just did Panda in space, and we're gonna give him a little bit of a space background. And I think this is my last one today. Usually I would do a couple more, but I just don't have the time today, unfortunately. Yeah, we did this one, and there's one more. Where is he? And we did this guy. Oh yeah, if you're in the art share channel, you should be able to either copy and paste or select the file and post it there. Or like if you take a picture of it on your phone or something, you can usually choose the little share icon. Oh my gosh. Okay. This space will be a little bit different from mouse space. This really turned out. I'm like really happy with it. It's so funny because what, 5, 10 minutes ago, I was really sad. Or not really sad, but I was disappointed. I wasn't thrilled with the illustration. But I'm telling you, you have to, or I have to continue because I will feel that way and it just will be fake. And I used to stop and then be like, I'm a terrible, terrible. And like, it's so sad. It's so sad for me. Let's do a tiny moon in the background or something. Yeah, let's do that. I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna do like an orange cloudy planet with rings, I think. And we'll do purple rings because orange and purple are complementary. Wait, blue and orange are complementary. But and really, this is a very red purple, so I'm not helping out. I'm not helping my case. Okay, so we'll do some blue. We'll get the planet to be a little, and then we'll do some purple and yellow. We'll do some yellow. We'll hit these rings from one side, and then we'll get them with this like dark violet from the other. Because if you ever look at photos of, say, Saturn's rings or any of the rings, you see so much shadow. Like that's the defining feature is in most space photography, of celestial, of objects that aren't like stars or nebula. Um, it's shadow. It's so much shadow because you have this like single source of light that is going from so far away, but ends up being so bright and powerful. Okay, I like that. I'm gonna hit this planet with a little bit of the ink. My brain was telling me to say ink tua, but that doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna do little scoops, little scoops of shadow. The scoop because it's like hugging the asteroid or the bit of dirt or rock or whatever it is that is casting the shadow. And then what we want to also do, I just remembered, is we want to put some shadow onto the planet because if the light is coming from this direction, which we had decided earlier, then you would see a little shadow on the planet. And also the planet would have some darkness on one side. There we go. And the planet would cast a shadow on the rings. Okay, okay. That feels a lot better once we got those shadows in there. I was like, why does this look so strange? But it was because we weren't obeying the laws of shadow. And then I'm going to add a couple little extra shadows in here. And I'm going to use this violet blue. And it's going to be pretty light. I don't want it to be super overwhelming. I don't want you to see this and go, oh, there's blue on that helmet. I just want there to be extra depth and shadow in here. I like that. And we're going to do the same on the panda's fur. In the same color. It's like the color of the light, we would say, will have this bluish hint to it. And then there's just one spot where I missed when I was going with the black. All right. Oh. I was like, did I draw two planets? What's going on? Okay, I'm just gonna throw a couple of yellow stars in here. In the deep dark. And we'll give them little sparkles. I do 4 or 6 spikes on the stars, and I came up with this when I was very young. I loved drawing space things. I really wanted to draw space. Oh. And so I'll do a quick talk about that, and then I'll show you guys off. So I would use only pencil or even Bic pen, and I would draw like stars, but I did not like if you drew a night sky, I didn't want to draw this kind of star because stars were more like a single point. So then I got a book from the library and it had stars in it, but when you looked at those stars, they weren't just a single point like when you looked in real life. They were sort of like this. And so I would draw stars, well, kind of like this. And sometimes if they were smaller, like this. And, I wouldn't keep it, since they're sparkling, twinkling, I would make them in different directions. It wouldn't always be straight up and down. It would be to the left, to the right. And I like that. That was my stars for a long time. And sometimes just regular dots, right? Like mixed in with that. And then James Webb Space Telescope launched, right? And somebody said, when you see James Webb Space Telescope, it's going to look different from Hubble pictures because the Hubble will have 4 spikes on their stars and the James Webb will have 6. So now I also do 6, but I did not know that that's why the pictures I saw all had 4. And so essentially, you take a photo of the stars, you bounce the light off of a mirror, and if you're bouncing it off of the Hubble, there's these support bars that hold the actual camera. Bounces, all the light goes off there from all over space and then bounces up into the camera. And you're missing these things, this little tiny bit. And so it bends the light. So you get these 4. And when you look at the James Webb, it's the same, except instead of having it's more hexagonal. I think the camera is, but certainly the mirror that makes up this giant mirror behind it on the James Webb is made up of a bunch of highly polished hexagons, but the camera itself is held up by these struts, and it's 6 struts. So as the light bounces in, it like kind of bends around these and bleeds into the image. So when you see a star from the James Webb telescope or any point of light, it has those same 6 bars shining off into the side. So now I do 6 and 4, and I mix them, and I love the way it looks. And I think it's like kind of, it's interesting because it's based off of real science and photos of stars, but I don't try to make it photorealistic or anything. I just like having a, to me, it's all about, it looks like it's sparkling. And the fact that it's based off of those telescopes is just a happy coincidence. Um, because I had looked up photos of stars as a little kid, and that's what I saw. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. I will be on tomorrow, maybe tomorrow late because of the snowstorm and stuff. Really happy we did the space panda today. We did the space mouse. Let me know which one's your favorite. I'll put up, you know what? I will put up a poll to see which one you guys like better in my community tab or whatever. I'll do that. I will try to do that tonight, basically as soon as I get off. All right. Thanks so much. I hope I see you guys tomorrow. Subscribe if you liked it. I do stuff like this all the time. And like if you liked it. Yeah, subscribe is better. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.